Hello, my name is Jessica Morrow, and when you're a little kid, it doesn't matter who you play with. It doesn't matter what they look like or how they act or what they wear. Perhaps the most important thing is whether they have the newest Barbie doll or the coolest dump truck. But sadly, as we grow older, this changes. The same can be said in my situation. When I was younger, my mother set me up with play dates with children all over the community. Perhaps my favorite person to play with was a boy, about a year younger than me. But as we grew older, we grew apart, as he stayed homeschooled and I went into the public school system. Now, a couple of years later, a new boy came into our school. No one really knew who he was, but I knew he looked really familiar to me. But I could hardly recognize him. Now he has longer hair, which he pulls back into a ponytail. He wears baggy clothes that are mostly black. And you can usually find him with his iPod in, listening to some death metal music. Now, I live in Blackwell, Texas, so obviously we don't listen to death metal too much around here. So I watch every day as my childhood friend gets ridiculed for the way he dresses, the way he acts, and his mannerisms. Now, how many of you have ever been ridiculed or feel like outcasts because of the way you dress or the way you act? Quite a few of you, right? Well, as a senior at Blackwell High School, I see many forms of intolerance daily, whether it be harmless teasing or outright ridicule. It is painstakingly obvious that something needs to be done. The more open the world comes to the possibilities of lifestyle choices, the more self-centered individuals become. Sure, I can dress and act the way I want to, but no one else can. Now, growing up in a small West Texas town has caused me to realize the intolerance I face daily. And through following these steps I will cover in my speech, we can succeed in creating a tolerant world and nation. The problem is painfully obvious, and every time when you turn on the news, you see a heart-wrenching news story or staggering statistics. The world needs to open its eyes and first realize that its people are not all that different. First, I want to give you some percentages of the three major areas I will cover in this speech: sexual orientation, race, and religion. Did you know that 1% of the United States population is homosexual, bisexual, or transgender? This may not seem like a very big percentage to you, but let's put it into perspective. There are over 300 million people in the United States. So 1% of these people equals over 3 million people. Next, I'm going to talk to you about race. In the United States, 65% of its population is white. 13% is Black or African American, and 16% is Hispanic or of Latino origin, according to quickfactscensus.gov. Now I want to talk to you about religion, probably the most touchy of all the subjects. 76% of the United States is Christian, 1.2% Jewish, 0.6% Muslim or Islam, and 0.5% Buddhist, and then 15% of America is non-religious, according to teachingaboutReligion.org. So now that you have a feel for the statistics in America, I'd like to tell you about probably one of the biggest problems in school systems, definitely, and that is hate crimes based on intolerance of people's lifestyle choices. There were over 7,000 hate crimes committed in 2009. Now, a hate crime can be classified as a bullying or discriminating against someone and causing harm to them or their property based on a difference of opinion. So over 7,000 in 2009. And according to John Adams of the United States Department of Justice, this was the highest it's been in 5 years. And based on the three areas that I'm covering in this speech, race, sexual orientation, and religion, they're broken down into even further. 48% of these hate crimes committed in 2009 were due to racial bias. 20% due to religious bias, and 18% due to sexual orientation bias. Now that you have an idea of the percentages throughout the United States, let's discuss ways to stop the ever-growing prejudice. In order to stop prejudice, we need to gain our tolerance for our fellow man. There are several ways you can accomplish this, but the two ways I'm going to discuss are better education and harsher consequences for carrying out hate crimes. We need to start teaching our children at a younger age that intolerance is bad. According to teachingtolerance.org, there are several creative ways you can teach tolerance to children of elementary age. Through creative lesson plans, fun activities, and several books, you can help them younger be more accepting of everyone in their lives. Now, the punishment for hate crimes around the world differs due to severity of the crime or how many people are involved or what state you're in. But according to the United States Department of Justice, their law enforcement officials and the Department of Justice are fighting to stop the ever-growing hate crime epidemic. Now, not only are our law enforcement officials trying to get involved, but so are our senators. Recently, Democratic Senator Henry Reid tried to pass a bill that gave further protection to gays and lesbians. Protection to gays and lesbians from hate crimes. So our law enforcement officials, our senators, as well as people in our everyday lives are trying to stop this prejudice, according to cbnnews.com. After discovering how to satisfy the problem of intolerance, we will start to see a better, more well-adjusted world. The world, as well as our nation, would experience more widespread peace if we practiced tolerance. According to LPG.org, thousands of wars have been fought over religious, sexual orientation, or racial disputes, or even differences of opinion. Perhaps one of the most famous wars fought over racial dispute is the American Civil War. It was fought over slavery, which was a race issue. Now, how many wars could we have stopped, and how many future wars can we stop if we could all just learn to take each other as we are, differences and all? As an American teenager, I hope for a world filled with peace and tolerance of everyone. How would it feel to turn on the TV and not see a news story about a hate crime committed? Or how much safer would you feel sending your child to school without fear of them being bullied or facing judgment based on the way they dress or act? And how would it feel to go into the grocery store and know that you're not going to be discriminated based on your race? Our nation can learn a lot from Joshua Liebman, an American rabbi in the early 1900s. He said, "Tolerance is the positive and cordial effect to understand another's belief, practices, and habits without necessarily sharing or accepting them." Of course, the world will never see eye to eye on everything. But if we make a constant effort to accept everyone as they are, without trying to change them, our world, our nation, and especially our communities will be better for it. Society at large preaches open-mindedness, but in reality, we live in one of the most closed-minded nations in the world. Through an effort to understand the demographics of our nation, a determination to fix the problem and end the prejudice, and the views of an end result, we can and will reach the goal of a tolerant nation. So as the present and future of our nation, we, the teenage generation, must fight for a tolerant America. As Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." So, my fellow students, stand up, stand out, and stand strong against intolerance. Thank you. Are there any questions?
What caused you to pick this topic?
Well, I feel that living in such a small community, we're not really privy to all of the people that are in the world. And so sometimes when we gain something new or a different perspective on things, we sometimes don't face the problem as we should. And I feel that if we were all more tolerant of everyone's lifestyle choices, that would be a much less hostile school environment. as well as a less hostile community.
What do you do when your choices interfere with your religion?
Like how?
Let's just say that you chose to pursue a religion that didn't support gays and lesbians. And
Well, I actually am, I've been raised Baptist, and Christianity says that homosexuality is a sin, and that it doesn't work. But I don't feel that you have to change your opinions about it. It is fine for you to believe that homosexuality is wrong, but you don't have to try to push your opinions on someone else. Just because I don't personally believe in homosexuality, I don't think that a gay man on the street should get beat up because he is gay. I think that you should let him live the life the way he chooses. And that's why I'm giving the speech over tolerance, because it means not changing other people. It's not changing your views to meet other people, or not trying to change other people's views to be the same as yours. It's just knowing that everyone has a different opinion, and everyone's opinion is valid and special. And we could all just get along better if we didn't have to try to make everyone the same. Anything else? Thank you.